Y'all, Porsha and Simon's divorce is heating up, and I know what you're saying. Tisha's divorce is done. No, it's not. Simon is appealing it, and if what Simon is saying is true, he has a good chance of getting that conviction thrown out. But more importantly, he has literally exposed Porsha. Now I know y'all heard the rumors. Oh my God, Porsha made $9 million that year, and I said, if you believe Porsha made $9 million last year, I got a bridge to sell you in Hoboken. Porsha, you really think that Porsha Williams is acting like a woman that just made $9 million? You mean to tell me that when she was trying to hop up on that and do a full split on Simon, that was a woman making $9 million a year? Porsha ain't making $9 million a year. At least I don't think so. But I'm gonna put y'all down to some game, okay? So Simon is pushing Porsha's hand on that way. We're gonna discuss that in a second. And then Porsha just clapped back and asked for the judge to hold Simon in contempt, saying she owes her $700,000. I know NetJet, that private jet company that Simon was using, that Porsha was using with Simon, and Simon owes them almost $1 million. I know all of Simon's creditors are like, you better get in line, because listen, people are saying that Porsha is trying to force a sell on that house in Atlanta so that she can get her money out of Simon's equity. But it seems like Simon already saw that coming. And that sale can't happen without that $200,000 lien being paid off first. What's the lien for? Simon's lawyer. Y'all, listen, I'm telling you. Porsha bit off more than she can chew. And I'll tell you one other thing. What's the odds that this ain't going to be used at all on this season's of Real Housewives of Atlanta, or next season also, right? This is why that show's about to be taken off the air. Okay, let's get into it with the Porsha Simon stuff, because this is actually low-key funny. I love to see them turn on each other. And I remember when they was both laying in bed talking about Fallon and Jalen, and I was sitting there thinking, yo, I know Porsha don't care, because if you read her book, when she got Cordell to propose to her, Cordell proposed with his first fiance's ring. Porsha even got married in that girl's ring. Porsha, in my opinion, Porsha like other people's property, right? So Simon was like, what did Simon say? Oh, so Simon was like, hold on, let me find it. So anyway, I found the documents. Let's get into Porsha asking, and they put it in TMZ, so baby, you know if she's paying for this placement, it's real. They said, Porsha Williams, judge, hold my deadbeat ex in contempt. He owes me literally $70K. Now, I guess this is a retaliation for Simon's appeal. Porsha says her ex-husband owes her a small fortune and is asking a judge to hold him in contempt for falling behind on payments to the tune of nearly $700K. Didn't I say that Simon ain't going to be paying her any back support or future? The Real Housewives star filed legal documents Thursday claiming Simon, the man she married in 2022 and recently finalized her divorce from back in June, owes her marital resident expenses, alimony payments, and attorney's fees and property taxes. Porsha calls Simon's non-payment a knowing, intentional, and ongoing disregard for the court's authority and the final judgment issue. In total, Porsha says Simon owes her almost $700K. And they said that Simon can satisfy that by giving up his share of equity in their former marriage home, right? Now, again, I went through the documents. Simon put down a 3.5, almost 3.5 in a down payment. I believe he probably did that through a company, so that's not even his money, that's the company's money. And there's a mortgage for $305K. Why would Simon give up his 3.5? And after that, there's $300,000 they have to split in half. Porsha gets $150,000. Simon gets $150,000. Why would Simon forfeit $3.5 million he put into that home out of premarital funds to satisfy a $700K lien? That's not the way it works. But let's keep going, right? Again, right? Okay. But Simon actually clapped back with this. He said, I'm finding out from a media publication about new filings. As you are aware, the divorce action has been closed. The matter is now before the Georgia Court of Appeals. We filed a timely appeal 30 days of the judge's decision, and I'm sure opposing counsel is aware that a higher court has to rule on the merits of the appeal before the lower court can entertain any new court filings. Until then, those filings are tantamount to toilet tissue and the public's consumption. Now, let me just say this, right? And it pains me to say it. Simon is completely right. One thing he knows how to do is scam somebody in court. But Simon is completely right. There's no way Porsha can force a sale. No way Porsha can force contempt of court. No way that the court will do something that can be irreparably damaged if it is in front of the Court of Appeals. He deserves a timely appeal. This is the right of everyone. When you marry somebody, this is the right in Georgia family court. Now, what is he appealing? As you guys know, Simon has been adamant that the judge in Porsha's case overstepped the rules of the prenup, did some stuff. If you read the court filings, it sounds like he might even be implying that Porsha and her lawyers just gave not fake paperwork, but paperwork that was not supplemented by any contracts. The judge took that as oh, okay, he said he'd give you the car. He said he'd give you the house. All right, bet. He's not here. There you go. And he's coming back and saying, we never had an agreement on all this. They literally gave Porsha's wish list and passed that off as an agreement we had. Now, there is a chance that Simon is BSing for all this, but he seems rather adamant that he is not. Again, anyone that keeps thinking that Porsha is on the winning team, I don't understand. And honestly, if Porsha was making, let's go back to that $9 million a year, and I think what Simon is trying to do. See, here's the thing. When Simon and Porsha was in love, let's be real, Porsha ran game on him, or maybe she was twerking on him, made him lose his mind, right? Now, just follow me. Porsha needed something in the prenup because she was adamant to prove that you have to compensate me for my time. You don't want me on TV? Fine. You got to compensate me for the time I'm not on TV. You got to compensate me on this. You got to compensate me that. That's why Simon was looking so hard at and trying to subpoena Porsha's contract with Bravo. I don't think he ever got it, but that's why he wanted it. Because people are saying that Porsha really fluffed up the amount that she was making or was going to make if she worked. And he was like, no, I don't want you on TV. I don't want people in our business. I don't want any filming. So if we ever leave and you leave me, I will compensate you and I will pay you not to put this on TV, not to disparage me, and not to film in my house. And Porsha was like, your house? And he's like, okay, fine, our house, okay? By filming and doing all that stuff, they literally frustrated the whole purpose of agreement. But people are saying that right now, Simon is saying, if you made $9 million, and this is true, where are the documents? Because I think that this is just my opinion, right? And I've been right about Porsha and Simon so far, even down to how they were going to break up and what was going to happen. I think what Simon's trying to do is he's trying to prove that Porsha defrauded him into going into the prenup. If he can prove that Porsha's documents of how much she was making, and that is what based his payments, if he can prove that she lied, that she over-exaggerated, that there were no contracts in place, a first look deal with NBC. What actor you know that's only been in one show on NBC Universal making $9 million a year? People that have been acting for years don't even make $9 million a year. How much did Anne Hathaway make last year? I'm being dead serious, right? So at the end of the day, if he can force Porsha's hand and prove that she lied about her financial status, she lied about her job opportunities, she lied about everything to get him to enter into this prenup, and then on the back end, when she left him only a year later, it was very calculated, and a lot of stuff that she said that he agreed to, he never agreed to. And the reason she said that is maybe because he was being deported and she thought that was the end of him. You guys, this appeal is getting messy. I will say one thing. I know that Simon was the biggest lick in the world for Porsha, but not really. Because while you were with him, you got cars, shoes, bags, and scammed private jet flights that he never ended up paying for. He owed those people $1 million. You know you ain't getting your money. Why all that was there, you were fine to take a ride on him, but just like with Fallon, as soon as you left that man, you are left with nothing. And it looks like you can't even afford that house. That's probably why you're trying to hold him in contempt, because that house is about to. Anyway, I think that's actually what it is. I think that Porsha expected while she was staying there for Simon to pay all the bills, this, that, and a third. I actually think that Porsha is getting really, really nervous because even though she's in that house, she has no way to pay for that house. And if she can't pay for that house, right? But she can't sell it because if she sells it, she has to pay that $200,000 lien from the lawyer. If she can't sell it, then yeah. Ugh, things are not looking good for Porsha. But you know what? It is what it is. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. We are going to be covering this, especially what happens in the appeal. But then again, Porsha be having luck sometimes. Maybe she will be, but we about to see. We about to see. I hope nobody from ICE is on that appeal board. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later.